Now we will start with 2 because the first row consists of names, the header, which we don't want to compare. So we'll start with 2 till the end of the row. So for I equal to 2 to I RC. Okay. Now first of all what we have to do is we have to take the address and one by one we have to fetch the value and compare with Jaipur or Mumbai, and if any one of them matches, then we have to click on the checkbox. Okay, so the first thing is we have to fetch the value from the address column. So I'll use .get cell data to fetch the value, and as you can see the parameters are row comma column. Now row I'll take it from the loop variable, that is I, since we are starting from the second row to the maximum row, and column will be the column which you want to find. Now the column for address is 1 2 3, third column, so we'll write I comma 3. So this will fetch me the value from the column one by one starting from the second row. So let's say I name it as string, so as address. Okay, now the next thing we have to do is we have to compare this with Mumbai or Jaipur. Okay, so comparison is done using conditional statement. If my string is equal to Mumbai, now here we have two comparison. It is either it can be Mumbai or it can be Jaipur. Then we have to click on the checkbox. So if one of the condition also satisfies, it's okay. So now we'll use OR condition. Okay, so if you remember, we had done different logical statements wherein we used AND, OR, NOT. So OR is one of them. So if my address is Mumbai or my address is Jaipur, so if any one of them matches, then I just simply need to check that checkbox. Okay, so how will I get that? So for say for example, when the value of I is 3, I'm entering this if, that is for the third row the address is Mumbai, then the line number 7 will be executed. But I have the row number, that is I equal to 3 in my variable, that is I, so I can use it over here in order to find the column for department number. So I already have the row number, I just need to find the column number, which is 5, which will always be 5. Okay, so my row is I and my column is 5. Okay, so I know the row column. Now if you remember, I showed you the concept of child item, wherein we perform the operation in the object which is inside the table. Okay, so the object checkbox is inside web table, so we write the code till here, and then I'll write dot child item. Okay, so as you can see the parameters are row column, which is I 5, I comma 5. My class, the class which is inside the cell is web checkbox, and the next thing is index. Now since there's only one web checkbox inside one cell, the index will be 0. Suppose inside one cell there are multiple checkboxes, then we can give the index 0 1 2, but in our case there's only one checkbox, so the index will be 0. Now the row is I comma 5. The my class is, if you're not sure about the class of this, you can just use object spy, and as you can see it is a web checkbox. You can just straight away copy paste this thing. Okay, here comma index is 0. So if address is Mumbai or Jaipur, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this web checkbox. Okay, I'm sorry, not click, it is dot set on, right? Click is for clicking on links or any other option, but since it's a checkbox, we'll use set on. Now guys, one thing you have to remember is dot set on is correct in normal conditions for web checkbox, but if you're using web checkbox as a child item, then you have to write dot click. Okay, now let's see what happens when we run this code. We have our application open over here and we'll run it. So as you can see, none of the checkboxes currently checked. So when I click on run, the code has been executed. Okay, if you see now again, none of the checkbox has been checked. Why is it so? We have done everything correctly. So in case you're stuck somewhere, if you're not getting the output as expected, you can just use debug using F11. Okay, so as you can see the pointer, it will debug one by one. Now F11, so for I equal to 2, as you can see in variables tab of your debug viewer, value of I is 6 as expected. Okay, now the value, initially the value of I is 2, and it is taking the cell data in SAD, that is Delhi. So the first value is Delhi. So if you look at the bottom, you'll see the variables which are assigned to the debug viewer. Now Delhi doesn't match, so if will be skipped. Second is Mumbai. Now if you see for Mumbai, the pointer should enter the line number 7, but it is not happening. So, and one more thing, if you observe, there is a space here, the value which is fetched in SAD from the browser. So it has a space over here, because of which maybe it is not, comparison is not happening. Okay. Similarly for Kolkata, if you say, there's a space. So that is the reason. Okay. So this is one reason why I never advise using equal to for comparing two strings. So it's better to use instr, which will give you the proper value. Now I'll show you second approach. If you don't want to use istr, you want to use equal to, what you can do is you can just simply trim this. So whatever value I am fetching will be trimmed. Okay, so the space will be removed, and SAD will have the Mumbai exactly in the same way which is over here. So this is my application, none of the checkbox is checked, and now when I run it, let's see if it is working fine. So as you can see, two checkboxes are checked corresponding to Mumbai and Jaipur, and the script is working as expected. So from this we understood the importance of using an str instead of equal to for comparing two strings, and also we saw that how we work with web tables or in Windows table, how we work with tables basically, and the child items which are inside them. My next and my last assignment is write a script which will take input as employee name existing in the web table, okay, and click on gmail.com with respect to that row. Okay, and it will take, what we are supposed to do is it will take the input as an employee name, so any of the employee name which is existing in the web table, and it will match with that row, and if the row is matching, it will click on gmail.com corresponding to that row. So this is the application. Suppose I'm taking Samir as an input from the user, then what QTP will do is it will compare the name in each and every row, and once the match is found, it will click on the Gmail link corresponding to that row. Okay, now you'll observe that we'll be using child item again, but you may have noticed that each cell has multiple objects inside it, and all the objects are belonging to the same class, that is links. So when objects are belonging to the same class and all the objects are in the same cell, then we'll be using indexing to indicate each object. So starting with 0, suppose Yahoo has an index 0, Gmail will have 1, Google will have 2. Now the code for this is somewhat similar to the earlier example with minor changes. Okay, so first of all we need to change the object which we have added. This is not the object which we need for this code. So using object repository, I'll add this web table, and I will just drag it. Okay, so the web table name is exactly the same. Okay, so first of all I have to count the rows. I have to start with 2 to RC as we did earlier. We'll take the name from the user this time. So let's say C input box, the name S name, we'll take it on S name, and enter any name from web table. Okay, since we want the name to be to match from web table only. So for I equal to 2 to IRC, now for each and every loop, we have to match the value of s name. Okay, so if s name is equal to, okay, again I'm using equal to instead of instr. I can use trim option. Now first of all, the value from the row, from the column which I need to fetch, I'll put it over here. Not get cell data. Okay, now the name column is the second column, so it will be I comma 2. Okay, so if the name is matching, and let's use trim again, the name is matching, then what we are supposed to do, so this is a slight difference over here. We have to click Gmail link corresponding to it. So Gmail link is on my third column. So we'll be using I comma 3, and the index will be 0, 1, 2. So 1 is what we have to click. So index is 1, and the class is web link. Okay, so here just I comma 3 web link. So slight variation from the initial problem. So this is the only difference, and you're good to go.